You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday. Will you go for that? All right. 20th day of June, 2018. Hope you're having a great Wednesday, whoever you are, wherever you are. It is hump day, as they say, and so based on your time zone, you could already be on that downward slide into the weekend. Now, for those of us on Pacific time, we got a couple more TikToks to go, and then we'll be right there with you. Everybody's working for the weekend. I got a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. If you cannot see the chart, go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in 30 seconds through the end of the month. That means you can join the show every day with one-click access. You only have to register once per month. If you run into a problem and for some reason you seem to be required to register more than once, you get a hold of us, shoot us an email, and we'll figure it out. Or you can jump over to youtube.com/ CFRN/live. YouTube.com/CFRN/live. Bookmark that page and you'll have one-click access every single day. All right? All right. Well, lots going on in the world. Market putting together a relatively good session, two sessions back to back. You can see the chart. We've got, leg and a retrace and a leg and a retrace, and it just keeps going. Now, we seem to have run into some pretty good resistance up here at this 76, 77 area. Partners might be hip to a reason as to why that is, because they got the weekly trading zones Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, before Wall Street woke up, as they do every Monday. And tomorrow, Thursday, as I normally do, I will share them with the community at large. Okay. Big news, Walgreens replacing GE in the Dow. Now, the venerable Dow 30 large cap companies that make up the Dow, and you always hear more about the Dow than the S&P, even though the S&P has 500 companies. You always hear about the Dow this and the Dow that. It's just 30 companies. And in order for somebody to come in, like Walgreens, that means somebody has to go. Same with the S&P. If you're going to add somebody, somebody's got to go. Otherwise, it'd be the S&P 501 or the Dow 31. Industrial giant General Electric was removed from the Dow Jones Industrial Average yesterday and replaced with drugstore chain Walgreens. GE was one of the 30 original stocks in the index in 1896, and it's been on the list continuously since 1907. Wow. Now, the company's stock has struggled over the past year. GE's leaders are implementing a turnaround plan, and the company said getting booted from the Dow does nothing to change those commitments or our focus in creating a stronger, simpler GE. Since 1907. Wow, imagine being shown the door for all those years. Maybe we should take a look at the Dow and see who else is in there at some point, and take a look at some charts and see who else might be getting shown the door. Now, antivirus pioneer and token master John McAfee has announced he's no longer working with ICOs, nor is he going to keep recommending them. The reason he gave for the move are SEC threats, and that those doing ICOs can all look forward to, John. How quickly we forget that this is the guy who was being chased around the world and making these crazed phone calls from hotel rooms that somebody was out to get him, and then all of a sudden they weren't. I don't know. I lost track of that story. An explanation for what McAfee might be fearing from the SEC came from the president of Bitcoin Futures, supporting CBOE Global Markets. The reckoning will come in two waves, he said in an interview with Business Insider. According to him, if you sold someone an unregistered security, you're liable to them. And, hey, I got an idea. Don't sell unregistered securities. I think we're all aware of that. BitTorrent, the company managing development of the peer-to-peer file sharing protocol, is trying to reassure users they have nothing to fear following its recently reported $120 million acquisition by Tron founder Justin Sun. It issued a statement that our attention has been drawn to the news items that have appeared in the past few weeks speculating about a change in BitTorrent's business model. We wish to reiterate that BitTorrent has no plans to change what we do or charge for the services we provide. We have no plans to enable mining of cryptocurrency now or in the future. I've never really understood the whole BitTorrent thing, so I kind of have an idea. but we're going to ask our friend the internet. Define BitTorrent. Okay. What is BitTorrent? You ready for this? It is a content distribution protocol. Wow. The ads have gotten so invasive. Trying to look up something in the dictionary here. Bitcoin is a content distribution protocol that enables efficient software distribution and peer-to-peer sharing of very large files, such as entire movies and TV shows, by enabling users to serve as network redistribution points. BitTorrent's protocol has been described as a swarming, scatter, and gather file transfer protocol rather than having to send a download to each customer requesting it. The distributor or holder of content sends it to one customer, who in turn sends it to other customers. Clients share pieces of the download back and forth until everyone has the complete download. This distribution scheme makes it possible for the original server to handle many requests for large files without requiring immense amounts of bandwidth. But doesn't it also mean that people have access to your computer to some degree? I don't know. That thought, that concern has always been enough to just keep me away from the whole thing. Wes says he hoped they gave GE a gold watch. Yeah, Wes, I hope they did. That would be the appropriate thing, I suppose. Now, Trust Token, the creator of the True USD stablecoin, has announced it completed a $20 million strategic investment round with support from the firms Andreessen Horowitz, Black Tower Capital, and others. The money is meant to support the development of the asset tokenization platform and expansion of its legal partnership, product, and engineering departments. Since launching in March of 2018, TrueUSD's market capitalization has grown to $49 million, with the Tether alternative reaching an average daily trading volume of 22 million on exchanges such as Binance, Bittrex, and Upbit. Trust Token CEO Danny Ann said the support of these leading investment firms represents a significant step towards our goal to build a compliant tokenization platform for currencies, commodities, and real-world assets. We will draw on the combined expertise and network of these firms as we grow our industry partnerships and extend the reach of our first product, which will be the True USD. Richard Hilton, a real estate broker from Beverly Hills, which, by the way, that's Paris Hilton's dad. Hotel Royalty is now tapping the Bitcoin whale market. He's reportedly offering an 11-bedroom, 16th century mansion in Rome for sale with cryptocurrency. The auction for the property, estimated to be worth over $35 million, will begin on June 28th. The auction shows real estate's growing trust in blockchain and provides crypto investors an opportunity to diversify and solidify their portfolio with a trophy asset. And the Malta Stock Exchange has announced it is joining forces with Binance for the launch of the MSX FinTech Accelerator Program. The stock exchange will offer crypto startups access to professional business services and facilities, including in-house accounting, services, and payroll, as well as office space, communication, conference rooms, and a training center. In addition to Binance, the program has also signed up other companies, including Thomson Reuters, as mentors. Okay, let's take a look at these numbers around the world and see what's happening. These are cash markets. We'll start in the U.S. The Dow's currently down just over 10 points. NASDAQ is up 65 points. It's almost 1%. S&P 500 is up 8. The Russell 2000 is up 12. In the commodity basket, crude oil inventory numbers were out today, and crude is up $1.17. almost 2%, trading 66.07 last. Gold down $2.50, trading 1276.10 last. In the Asian markets, the Nikkei closed up 276 points, over 1%. Shanghai was up 9 points at the close. The Hang Seng was up 228 points. And in the European markets, the FTSE closed up 23 points, the DAX was up 17, and the CAC closed down 18 on the session. Now, there was much ado about Draghi and the Euro and a Eurozone budget, and Draghi has assured that they will not be too quick to raise interest rates, that they'll take a measured approach. So we'll see how that works out. We'll go to Michael right now and get a recap of what happened in the live trading room. If you're ready, Michael.
I am ready. Here we go.
From what you said earlier, I guess this will be a short one.
Yeah, we only had trades on crude today. And we only made one tick. We started out with a stop out, and we got that back, and then we got a one tick gain on one trade. During the break here, I mean, just now, crude has just made a huge move. So we'll go over all that.
Alrighty, I'll hit mute and I'll be here when you're done.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 20th day of June, 2018. Uh-oh. Hang on. Today's Wednesday, the 20th day of June, 2018. Guys, Dwayne, come back in for a second. I gotta take a quick break. Okay, sorry, that was a quick break. I didn't mean to take, but all right. So what I was saying was, if you have not taken a free trial with us, come to the home page here at CFRN.net, and up here at the top, when it finishes loading, okay, well, that's gone. Okay, to take our free trial, all you need to do is click right here where it says apply.cfrn.net, or you can scroll down here where it says free 5-day trial. Click on that. And when you do, it's going to bring you to this page right here, where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us, and hit the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, then you will not get your free trial. Okay, you must click the confirmation link. Okay. Okay. All right. So that is how you take the free trial. Now, today, we had a really slow day today. The markets were really, really slow and flat. The only market we traded was crude oil. And we stopped out on our first trade, and then we ended up getting it back and then getting one more tick. So we're plus one tick on the day. Okay, so we had a yellow day. We took 5 trade opportunities, all of them in crude. On the month now, we're at 1132.50. That's over 11 days, averaging 102.95. That's per day, 102.95 per day. On the year, we're at 18,032. That's over 111 days, averaging 162 per day. Okay. And that is it. Okay. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to show you gold, but there was nothing here on the gold. This was our morning on gold. Not a single trade set up to be had. Okay, even now, still not a single trade set up to be had. So, not much there. All right, and here now, in the euro. Oops, hang on. Bring the data back. Here we go. In the euro, there was one trade set up here that we missed. I mean, it was doing nothing as well till a little after 10. Then it had one trade set up there that we missed, and it was just not trending. Finally, it broke up above that prior level, and there was one trade set up there that we missed. And then we got into the break, and it started to move a little bit during the break, but by that time, the slingshot was not giving any information that would allow us to trade. And now we have crude oil. Now, crude is where we did do something this morning. We started out back here. First trade of the day right here was a stop out on crude for -8 ticks. We missed that. Then the crude inventories came out, and it bounced all around. Way up and way back. And we missed this one. I'm sad that we missed that because that would have definitely gotten us the goal for the day. But this one right here, we got the 8 ticks back on that. And then we had a break even there and a +1 there. Then it was really flat again for the rest of the session. Until right in here, we actually got in here. I forgot to mark this, but we got in here right there. And we got out right there. Break even. It ended up going up after a long time. Then there were a couple of opportunities. One was right here for a long trade. And one was right here for a long trade. Then it switched directions, okay? And there was something there and something there. This was all during the break. There, and there. And then the cycle started going up too steep, okay? So crude gave a ton of opportunity during the break, gave a little bit of opportunity during the session. Now this area right here that I've highlighted, anybody that was in the session this morning, so let me highlight that area. That area is where price was trading yesterday when the API numbers came out. And look, it's almost exactly down there again. I said look for price to get back down there, and it's almost there to the tick. Okay? That is what is happening right now. When it gets down there, it'll probably bounce off of there. Okay? It'll probably bounce off of there when it gets down there. This one here, let's see. The ES was totally flat, got down into the zone, got back up into the zone, got back down into the zone. It was totally untradeable today. Okay, totally untradeable. And that was it. That was our morning. Okay, the morning was painfully slow and flat. Oops. Hang on. I'm scrolling the wrong way. There we go. So, as I said, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. And today is the 20th day of June, 2018. We made one tick. in crude oil. All right, and painfully slow. Took 5 trade opportunities on the month. We're at 1132.5. That's over 11 days, averaging 102.95. On the year, we're at 18,032. That's over 111 days, averaging 162. 162. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at CFRN.net. I don't know why that's not working. The banner should be dropping down here, but it's not. No, Wes, it's not. To take the free trial, you can click right here, apply.cfrn.net, or you can go down here and click right here where it says free 5-day trial. When you click there, you'll be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, how you found us. Click the submit button. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, you will not get a free trial because we don't know you took the trial until you do that. Okay? Okay. Now, let's see. Wes, I just wanted to show you, we only have a couple of lines showing down here in the slingshot, but there's actually 9 different ones that you could have show. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with it. You know, we don't use all the other ones, but for example, if I were to turn on all the lines down here in the slingshot, that's what it would look like. Okay, but we don't use all that. All right, and with that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are ready. Do you have a computer issue there or problem? Something
No,
like
I had somebody at my door that
Oh,
wanted to
I
deliver something.
I see.
Yes, wanted to deliver a little something.
Pizza?
No, a civil paper.
I see. I see.
So, yeah.
Alright. Okie doke.
She's at it.
So do
Yes,
you,
Wes.
do you need,
Everything is proprietary, Wes. Go ahead.
do you need to go deal with that, or are you going to go deal with
No,
that?
I'm just. I went down and talked to him, and he's going to come back tomorrow.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, anything else going on?
Not that I know of. Not yet, anyway. That I know of.
Okay. Seem to have lost the chat box again. Let's see what we can do about
All
that.
right. Go to view
Yeah, I know.
chat. You'll find it up there.
Yeah, it's already there and it's already ticked. It's just that it doesn't show up.
Untick it and tick it again. It'll probably show up in the
Yeah, no,
panel.
Yeah, I got it. I mean, I was able to grab it back, so at least I know
Oh,
how
okay.
to do that now. Last night, excuse me, on the Concierge Trade Alerts on the S&P, 2773, and we put in a high up at 2776. So there's a couple opportunities for 3 points. I draw a line across here. Is John in, Michael?
Not yet.
Okay, I spoke to him. He said he'd be here in
Okay.
a few minutes. Okay. All right, well, I guess 2773 is going to be right there. Okay. And so there's 26, and then important prices, important areas, almost always tested back below. And then 26 and a quarter. Maybe this is 26 and a quarter. Yeah, so it's 3 1/4 points. And we've crossed it yet again. So we broke through, and on the first move, we only got up 2 points to 25. or to 75. Back below, up to 76 there, 76 and a quarter. Back below, and then 76 and a quarter. Back below, and this time we're at 76 so far. So we'll see if they continue to push higher. And as I said earlier, partners know probably what's holding the market down up there. And the question is will we power through that and build another leg tomorrow and one Friday? Do we end positive on the week or not? Or has the sell-off just begun? So, what's your thoughts on this whole immigration business, Michael? Are you still there? Or are you on the phone?
I'm still here, but I don't know what you're talking about, the immigration business.
You know, with the children being taken from their parents at the border.
Oh,
You're not aware of that?
I'm not aware of any of that. I haven't watched the news in days.
I see. Okay. All right then. Any questions from the audience?
I got all the ones that are in there right now. I've already answered them.
Okay. Trump administration officials have sent small children, including babies, separated from their undocumented migrant parents to at least 3 tender-age shelters in southern Texas. The Associated Press reported Tuesday. The federal government reportedly is preparing to open a 4th shelter in Houston, where city officials denounced the plan. Lawyers and medical providers who have visited the shelters said they saw preschool-age children crying in playrooms. I suspect you could find that anywhere across America. Go to any daycare, any kindergarten.
Yeah,
You will
I
find
think that'd be
children crying in
pretty common.
playrooms. The administration has detained more than 2,300 children at the U.S.-Mexico border since announcing its zero-tolerance policy in May. Kate Beller, vice president for programs at Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service, said, "It's hard for me to even wrap my mind around it. Toddlers are being detained." Well, actually, toddlers are being babysat because their parents knowingly and willfully chose to break the law and cross a border that they didn't have authority to cross, and so the parents have been incarcerated, and now the American taxpayers are forced to take care of the children until I think there's a 20-day time limit, and supposedly that's the whole reason for the thing is even if it's not your kid, just as you're on the way to the border, just find a kid, steal a kid if you have to, but you want to hit the border with a kid because the kid goes to the daycare, you are detained, and then federal law mandate whatever says in 20 days you got to be released into society, reunited with the child, whether you know him or not, and bingo bango, you've crossed the border. So this way you don't have to hire coyotes, you don't have to climb a fence, you don't have to crawl through a tunnel on your belly. You just walk up to the gate and step over the line with the kid in tow. And that's how I understand it. If I have misunderstood it and someone in the audience wants to help me out. Yeah, well, Daniel, I think these people are coming from Central America, and I think it's an American, it's a US of A problem, because we're the ones that are having to do the detaining and the ones who are having to run the child care centers, and the American taxpayers, of course, have to foot the bill. So I don't know that we can say it's a problem, a Mexico problem. It's just a mess. It is. And with our new ruler, this tin-pot despot, Donald Trump, why does everybody want to come here? I mean, good Lord. You turn on the news, you can hear nothing about what an oaf he is and a buffoon and just an all-around bad guy, but yet all these people still want to come to America. I don't get it. Are they going to change things? Are they going to make it better? I'm Anybody in the audience got any suggestions? Got any ideas? I'm sure somebody out there over dinner last night worked the whole thing out on the back of a cocktail napkin. Yeah? No? All right, let's see if John's here.
John is still not here. Still no John. Well, there is John, but not the one you're
Yeah,
looking
we
for.
got John's. Okay. Tomorrow night, partners meeting?
Yes,
Partners
tomorrow
workshop.
night partners.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what else we got going on? I guess that's probably it. Now, ring John, that ought to bring him in. Get this show on the road. Let me go ahead and just run through the rest of these real quick. The Dow. Last night, the Concierge Trade Alert said to consider selling 24,695. 24,695. So that's going to be right in here. The incredible disappearing cursor. That just 24,695. Yeah, right about here. And then it doesn't work. Okay. We'll try it again. 24,695. Yeah. Okay. Go right up under there. So from 695, we worked our way down to 676. From 95, 24,795, 695 to 24,635. There we go. That's more like it. So that's 60 Dow points. Now the flip side was to consider being long or to buy the Dow at 24,790 if the opportunity presented itself. And it did. It's what we call two-sided action. Something I picked up from Mike Reed many years ago. That's when, in the course of a session, you have a chance to go long and go short. Not getting married to either side. That's the beauty of futures. 24,790. Okay. And important prices, important areas. How low did we get? Did we get below? Yep. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. And so, from 790, we made it up to 850. Back below the zone, up we go again. Nope, we didn't go back below here, but we did go below here. And I'll be right back. Okay. Alright, so two-sided action there. Now the Russell has just been on an incredible tear the last few days. The Russell, last night's email said to consider buying 1705, which is going to be right here. $17.05. Okay, so the first move up took us to $17.08, so that's 3.5 points, $50 per point, $150 per contract traded. Important prices, important areas, so we get back below the trigger, and off we go again. And this time we make it up to $17.13. That's 8 points at $50 a point, $400 per contract traded. However, we don't get out at the swing high or the swing low because we trail a stop. And when you trail a stop, you're always going to leave a little something on the table. That's the way that works. NQ. Man, look at that NQ. Wow. All right, on the NQ, last night's email, consider buying 72.61 if the opportunity presents. And it did. 72.61. Right there. Now the first move up, see what time that came out. Yep. This first move, 72.61 up to 64. Okay. And then this drawdown at, most likely, if you're in that trade, ended in a stop out. And, well, stops happen. That's the truth about trading. So, by 72.61. But it gets better. Now the next move, we get below the trigger, off we go again. From 61 we get up to 74. So that's $260 per contract. And if you were taken out on this pullback, that's okay, you had a nice trade. And if you were trailing at enough of a distance that this pullback did not take you out, potentially you could still be in the trade, although there's a pretty good drawdown here. So at this point you might be aggressively pursuing price with your stop loss. So if you get taken out here, from 72.61 up to 73.06, so that's about $800 per contract available. And if you're still in that thing way up here, goodness, you had a very nice Wednesday session. Next is crude oil. Look at that. Now on our one trade a day for crude, we hit that, I think, to the tick. Is that correct, Michael? You still there? Or maybe you're on the phone.
I'm still here. And John's still not in. And
one trade a day. Wasn't the second target 66.35?
Let me check. Oh, the one trade a day. I don't know about the one trade a day. The daily double though. The final target was 66.35.
That's what I meant was the daily double.
Yeah. Final target was 66.35.
And the swing high right here, guys, 66.35.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's proof that even
worth the daily double.
Even a blind squirrel gets an acorn every now and then. All right. Last night on the Concierge Trade Alerts, we said consider buying 65.35. And we know that from 65.35 up to 66.35, it's $1,000 per contract. Uh, 66.35. And the deal on, I'll just tell you, the deal on the crude, this week's weekly zone is at 66.45, 66.40. Now, so why 35? Because zones are an area, it's like I always tell you. So when I'm sending it up to the target, unless we're really close, and I'm really confident that we're headed there, you know, we got within 5 ticks of the zone. And now the initial reaction, we had a doji in the first 30-minute candle when the crude inventories came out today. Were the crude inventories a hit or a miss or a swing?
It was a big miss. It was a big miss. They were expecting minus 2 million and they got minus 5.9 or something like that. So it was a pretty big miss.
They were expecting how many now?
Hang on. They're expecting -2, I believe. And let me just go. I'll tell you the exact numbers here in just a second.
How did I determine the higher zone, Wes? Well, we've been publishing the weekly trading zones since December 14th of 2009, and that is a proprietary methodology. And it's something that we send out to our CFRN partners every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, before Wall Street wakes up. And once we publish the weekly zones, they are carved in stone for the entire week. We don't massage them, manipulate them, change them. They are what they are. And
Yes.
even though we had a rollover, an unexpected rollover for me, this goes to show that important prices are important prices. I guess doesn't matter what contract it's on. Probably matters what market, yeah. But it just ran right up there. So, in answer to your question, Wes, I can't answer that question. But thanks for asking. So you should come hang with us, and you'll have access to them every Monday. You'll be the first to know. And again, I break them out to the community at large, usually on Thursday. All right, after crude. Oh, okay, the flip side of crude. Let's see. Crude. Yeah. If you get the, yeah, 64.20 is way down there. So you won't even look at that. Gold. This sideways struggle gold's been in. Oh boy. Consider being long 1282. Never saw that, and consider being short 1276. Well, we're like right there. So from 1276, I mean, this is a tight little range, but it did take us down to 1272.1. And so one more tick, that would have been $400 per contract available. And price just got back above the trigger. And it's ready to come down again, it looks like. Question is will this support hold? We have a lower low here. If we had a higher low, that would be bullish. The fact that we have a lower low, that could be bearish. But here it comes down again. And that will sell 1276. But the sell off of soybeans.
John is in.
Okay. All right. Well, if you want to open his mic, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll open it up. There it is.
Hey, John, welcome to the show. Not yet.
Yeah.
I got his headset.
His mic is open.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay, John, are you there? All right, I'll keep rolling. See, the soybeans. I was going to mention the soybeans because I made a video on this last night, guys. I'll probably share it with partners Thursday night or something. And I won't go into any detail right now. It's basically what I was showing you yesterday, but a detailed. It was like a time-lapse photography. I just let the video recorder run for a couple hours, and I popped in periodically to point out areas of interest and where you would consider taking action. We'll get that out of the way for right now. Okay. Should we be in? This should be rolled, shouldn't it, Michael? I think we're behind the curve here on soybeans. Let's see. Now he's on the phone. ZSN. I think we should probably be in. Boy, that's a tough call. We could go look it up, or we can just check volume. Okay. ZSN. And there's the volume. So the volume is still in the July contract. All right. For some reason we can't hear John. Let me check his settings. I'll be right back. Okay, John is on his way in. All rise.
Okay. I've risen.
Hey, did you see the email that just came in?
Not yet. Go look.
It doesn't even. There's something odd about it because when you drop it down, yeah, I wouldn't.
I didn't get it. It must have gone directly to you.
Well, I'm gonna forward it to you, but because it doesn't say who it was sent to.
Huh.
So there's something.
Something fishy.
Yeah, it says, "Could you please email me back? I need a favor." Ben.
Yeah. And it doesn't say who it was sent to, so it was probably sent to a whole bunch of different people.
You know, I didn't think an email client would let it. If it doesn't have the proper headers, I didn't think it would allow it to go through. But that one did, so kind of stood out. All right, so on soybeans last night, we said to consider to that page. Soybeans, consider selling 870. Okay, we never got down there. Been selling off here. Oh, I know why that looked strange. Now it'll look less strange if I get rid of the stuff. My select all box.
Okay. And I don't know who that person is doing.
Yeah, me.
That's not anybody. Not anybody we've been in contact with.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There we go. Okay, now, so this was, according to an article I read this morning, this is all over the trade tariffs, and soybeans are being, I think it was unfairly punished was the terminology. So last night, yeah, we didn't. We got nothing. So about bonds. ZBU. Oh. Okay. ZBU. Yeah, just that, I gotta tell you, hard to trade. And for those who are just getting started, I don't recommend bonds. 31.25 per tick. If you're on the right side of the trade, of course, you know, that feels good for the moment. But when you're on the wrong side, it doesn't take long for your stop loss to get eaten up pretty quick. There's 32 ticks to a point. So if bonds go from 143 to 144, that's $1,000 per contract. Now, of course, that is tempting, but the pendulum swings both ways. So do keep that in mind. Last night we're looking to sell 143.21, and it looks like we walked right up to it. The swing low. Is that you, John?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Glad to have you with
Thank
us.
you. Yeah, sorry I couldn't get on earlier.
That's right.
Look, a couple of good things going on today.
Yeah.
first of all, remember the grains put in an amazing bottom yesterday and had a huge rally. We sold them near the highs, and we didn't do any other trades. We just sold them where they were up, and came in and bought. They dipped down, probably pulled back about 10, 20 cents, something like that. Right. And looks like we nailed the bottom on those grains today. This is looking like a very, very big bottom, and it's getting better as it's starting to rally off these lows right now. I think look, there's still risk, obviously, but the risk may be significantly reduced now that there's a sense of a pretty good bottom in the stock, in the grains rather.
Now this sell-off article I read this morning over the trade tariffs, is that what's causing this?
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think they can get much worse than where we are right now. You're sort of looking at a artificially created scenario here, which has forced the price down. And I think that look, we've been in a bear market in the grains for quite a while, and for the market to sort of spike down and reverse, this is the sort of things that bottoms are made of. And I'm happy to say earlier on this morning we nailed the platinum. Remember, we were short actually overnight. Platinum got down to 861. We put a buy in at 863, and it's at 875 right now. And I'm kind of going out on a limb here, and I think the platinum has bottomed. And we're up 10 points now. The gold is still, shunting around here, not acting very well, I might add. But with the platinum being up this much, if it goes up anymore, if it's up another $5 or $10, that would probably be enough to get the gold to turn. The silver is also trying to bottom here. The palladium is kind of the odd man out, that's making new lows today and not looking very good. Not a very good sign for the metals. That's probably the big negative. But so that's that. Now the VIXs, which rallied yesterday because of this sell-off in the morning, basically didn't get much higher yesterday and got down, and they gapped down again this morning. And the market is gradually building strength here. The breadth is improving. I think we're on a new leg up here today. In fact, I think we're on the point of going to a new all-time high in the Russell.
The Russell's been on fire all week.
Yeah, and had a heart attack pullback. It's back up again, and the mid cap is about to go to an all-time high here, and the Nasdaq is pretty much at all-time highs. Facebook got over 200 this morning for the first time ever. And remember, we said it was a great buy when what's his name was testifying. Mm-hmm. So look, it's still pretty choppy. There's some stocks not acting very well, like now Nvidia coming down. So it's never easy, but it's certainly better than it's better than yesterday. And I think as long as we don't dip back too much today, if we kind of hold in around these levels, I think that would be constructive. On the Dow side, there's some stocks that are not acting very well. They're sort of dragging the Dow down. But I think
what are your thoughts on this GE being booted from the Dow? It's been continuously since 1907.
Yeah, about time. I think GE's, I don't know, I think this company's, all of the...
What's the guy's name that used to run GE?
Jack Welch.
Yeah. Yeah,
all of the stuff that he did, probably a lot of it is kind of coming back to haunt them in one way or another. And, they got into all this financial area in the 2009, 7 to 9 crash that obviously hurt them very badly. I mean, remember they got down to $6 before, 5.70. But look, sometimes when Dow stocks get kicked off the Dow, they actually, after a while, not immediately, but after a while, they can come back and live another day. Honeywell is an example. I think Honeywell is doing very well these days. So, you know, I think, you know, GE makes some of the best jet engines in the world, and that's a pretty big business, and they also are big in trains and engines. I mean, they're big in everything, but they've just been, I mean, check out Honeywell. Holy mackerel. This is a stock that got kicked out of the Dow. You know, when it was probably about $30 or $40, and it's like $150 now. So just because GE gets kicked out of the Dow doesn't necessarily mean it's over. And they might even go back. You know, they could always get back in the Dow if they can get their act together. So a lot of these stocks, it looks like they've run into a bit of trouble here now. Some of the stocks we've mentioned, by the way, Gild, G-I-L-D, is broken out. This stock is really starting to look very, very bullish. It's in fact, I would say it's potential for an explosive up move here in the next few days, just the way it's set up here. And CELG is it's gearing, you know, it's broken its downtrend line. It's starting to look like it could, you know, these two are kind of like peas in a pod, and Amgen is also looking pretty strong. So it's sort of a bit of a it's a bit of a rest day today, but for the pharmaceuticals, you know, Intercept got up to 86 this morning, 87, hit 87, pulled back to 84. I think this is still a great story, but it's, you know, it's hard to buy on these pullbacks, but you know, give it a little more time and see how it shapes up. But you know, we were talking about this stock when it was down at in the 50s, in the low 50s, and it's 80, 85, 87, you know, from 50 to 87. It's taken its time, but it's had a pretty good run, but I don't think the run is over. In fact, if they come out with some sort of news, the stock could gap higher in a very profound way, in a very dramatic way, much like Madrigal did. I think there's a very real possibility that Intercept could have a huge up move at some point. I don't think it's quite ready to happen yet, but it's look, the Dow stocks are probably feeling the brunt of the tariffs more than the Nasdaq, and that's one of the reasons why the Nasdaq's up so much and the Dow is kind of just about unchanged right now. But
now here's a proper picture of GE on a daily. Something crazy happened to the chart a moment ago, but it's trading $13. Now they were replaced by Walgreens. What's their symbol?
WAG, I think.
There we go, WBA. That's it. I gotta figure this.
Oh, remember I mentioned the lumber to you yesterday?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I said I might go limit down one more time, and which it did. I said be ready to reverse, We put out a buy. It got the limit, I think, was 511 this morning. It came up to 513. We bought it at 513. It just not so. It just came off 537 a short while ago. How about that? Is that a move or what?
Which was it now? What was it again?
Lumber.
Lumber. Okay.
It'll be check it on. Put it on the chart because it looks pretty amazing.
Futures. What are you in July? What are you in?
July. Yeah.
Okay, and I got to go back in here. Get this thing fixed. Okay, that's on a daily chart. Boy, I messed this thing up. I messed it up real good. Now, is this the price you're showing? Do you even have the proper price?
Yeah, that's correct. Can you put it on a 30-minute or something?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Huh.
That probably need a 5-minute to really show the. There you go.
Now, let me make sure it's. Yep. Okay, so that is correct.
Yeah,
Just
it's a pretty good.
odd-looking chart, but I don't. That's lumber, not something I keep tabs on. But this thing's been locked, limit up, limit down. I mean, how many times?
It never happened before. It's so totally new.
And that's got to spell something for the housing market. I got an email this morning. These real estate agents are always once you get on their lists, or you inquired about selling a property or blah blah, and the guy sent me an email today that slashed housing values in this area, in this zip code, so to speak, by like 50%, and that's ridiculous. I'm not going to bother to call the guy or even email him back, but I think he just had a mistake in his program. But or maybe he's doing that. Maybe that's an intentional move to get a homeowner aggravated. If you email a homeowner and say, "Hi, I understand you might be interested in selling your property. Well, our current blah 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 says it's worth this much," and if you tell a guy it's worth half what he knows that comps are, he's probably more likely to pick up the phone and tell you you're wrong than to pick up the phone and give you an order or ask you to list his property. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it may be a sales tactic. Hey, why did you send me this email saying my house is worth X when I know the house right next door just sold for? Oh yeah, we had a problem. Oh, what was your name again? Oh, I'm so glad you called. Yeah, I don't know. I got a good imagination. All right. So this is lumber, and you mentioned a minute ago Honeywell. What's that symbol?
HON.
Now, did you say that they were removed from the Dow as well?
I think they were. I think they used to be a Dow stock.
What's your take on the whole immigration thing that's blowing up at the border with separating the parents from the children? You think it's being handled the way it should be handled, or?
Well, look, this thing is kind of, or you need to put it weekly, or squeeze it up. There's 600,000 asylum applications under in the U.S. 600,000. I mean, they're kind of overwhelmed, and I guess they've got to do something to try and stop it. But perhaps without the without the extreme measures that are going on.
Wes in the audience asked if you could explain what the terms limit up and limit down mean.
Oh, okay. Look, in the old days, almost everything on the futures used to have a limit, a daily limit, up or down. That doesn't happen too much these days. In fact, they made the limits bigger, so it's pretty rare that it actually ever happens. The last time we went limit down in the stock in the Nasdaq was I think October 2008. There might have been one or two times since. The last time we went limit up, oh yeah, I think we went limit down on a new, remember when they were doing some funding, some kind of a thing. They stopped the government between 2011 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Nasdaq went limit down briefly, right before it went crazy to the upside, and a couple of times, I think the night of around the election, the Nasdaq went limit up and limit down, right? With all that volatility with Hillary and everything.
So what is the limit that lumber can rise?
Well, it's normally 10, but
Okay.
after a few days they expand it to 15. So that's what happened. We started out at 10 on the way up, and then we went to 15, then we reversed, and then we went 10, and then we went 15, and then we had a 15 up rally a couple of days, and then we had a down, and then we've been down since. And then this was down 15. I think it was almost down 15 this morning before it reversed. And the grains have been limited a couple of times recently. I think it's either 50 or 70 on the beans now, and it's something similar on the wheat. It used to be 20 points on the wheat. I think it's 30 now. So, but they're pretty rare.
Is that for the entire session?
Yeah. Look, if something really bad happens on the market, you'll probably see a limit move down in the Nasdaq or the S&P. I don't even know what a limit move is these days.
I can't remember the last time.
Well, it's obviously not 200 because we've had a number of up 200 and down 200 type days, and it hasn't triggered a limit.
The Dow's, I think it's 500 or.
Yeah.
And that's not for the entire session. That's like a cooling off period.
Right.
And then they let it start trading again, and if it continues to move in the same direction, I think they have like 2 tiers, and then they will finally, shut it for the day.
Yeah.
The one thing, the thing that I find interesting about the lumber is, I know we've talked about it before, but back before the big housing crash, 2005, 6, whenever that was, the cost of lumber was less than what it cost to actually produce the lumber. And anytime you see something that out of sync, and so the lumber was so cheap, it cost more to produce it than they could sell it for, which just I guess to me says that the demand had dried up. Home builders weren't building, and well, we know what happened then, the Great Recession. So, what does it take to make a recession great? I don't know. So Trump continues to stand. Oh, did you back to your? I don't think I might have cut you off, but on the immigration thing.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think they can, the zero tolerance thing, but without this issue of the kids, if they can, Trump's going to sign something shortly to fix this problem, so they're obviously going to work it out. But I don't think these kids are being treated too badly, actually, just from the way it appears. But it's obviously not a good thing to have this going on.
Yeah, and so if I understand this correctly, A person can hire.
I mean,
A person can hire a coyote, or they can climb over a wall, or they can crawl through
well,
a
that's
tunnel, or
look,
they can
look,
just walk. Or they can just walk
we,
across.
Dwayne, we talked about this eons ago. You know, if you take 1 million refugees in Germany, I mean, how did they all get there? Most of them came by boat across the Mediterranean. You know, the going rate is probably, you know, $5,000, and people are making an absolute fortune. I mean, that's $5 billion in revenues to get 1 million people into Germany, and it might be a lot more because, you know, the going rate for a Chinese is probably 15,000 to get somebody over into the U.S. from China, maybe even 20. And
Now, are we talking legally or illegally?
illegally.
Wow.
Yeah, just to get them to the border, or you know, or to, you know, it's a total ripoff, and this is what's going on. And these gangs are all, you know, that's what's going on in El Salvador. That's why all these people are coming. It's a really big problem because there's a money, there's a lot of money in it, and these cartels, you know, their business is down on the drug side, so they're looking for other ways to keep the revenues going.
The MS-13, are they out of Mexico?
And listen, you know, they just found another tunnel the other day. You know, we haven't had any news about a tunnel being discovered for a while, and found another one just recently. And you know, how many more are there? I mean, you know, the tunnel, obviously I don't know whether they really want to have immigration, you know, people going through the tunnel because they might, you know, dob them in. But it's very difficult to stop this stuff. I don't know how. I don't understand how all these kids are able to get across the border the way they do. But it's a tough thing.
The kids with the parents.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a lot of them are unaccompanied.
Well, here my understanding is, if you approach the border with a child, and you just step 1 foot over the border, okay, now you violated the law, and they gotta arrest you. You go into the adult goes into a holding pen for 20 days. The kid goes to this child care that they have set up, and then at the end of 20 days, because there's so many cases, they're backlogged by the law that we wrote. We can't hold them more than 20 days. So it's just like a game. As you're headed to the border, if you don't have your own kid, you know, you borrow one, you steal one. The important thing is that you just arrive at the border, at the point of entry, with the child. Step 1 foot over the border, they arrest you. Child goes to child care. You get locked up for 20 days, but at the end of 20 days, you get released into society, into the American society, into the U.S., and you're reunited with the child, whether it's yours or not, and then you have a court date, you know, that you have to appear, and nobody ever appears for the court date. Now, that's my understanding of how this whole thing works. So why pay a coyote? You know, why climb walls or crawl in tunnels when you can just step across and say, arrest me? And I think that's what they're doing now. And I mean, so they found a loophole, and they're exploiting it until somebody does something to plug that up. Now, of course, you know, the current administration says that first I heard this law was put into place under Bush, and then I heard Clinton, and then I heard that's not true. Do you know when this law came into
I don't know.
All right. Well, it's certainly got the world's attention, and it's like they keep creating these crises to, I think, keep the American people's eyes off what might really be important. I'm not saying that these people and their lives are not important, but I mean, we've had immigration issues forever, and I guess we always will, even if we build a wall. But what is it they're trying to keep us from seeing and understanding? What's really going on? I don't know. I really don't. We got the elections coming up here in about 5 months, I guess it would be, in November. So, do you think the Republicans will do well in the upcoming?
Well, the border thing is actually pretty. I noticed that Trump's ratings have been holding very steady here the last few days, in spite of all the outcry and everything. So it gives you kind of a sense that this border issue is a problem. That most people don't want.
Right. Sarah Huckabee said it was Bush's law, according to Daniel.
It probably is. It probably is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we had crude inventories today. Any thoughts there?
I didn't see what they were.
Well, the numbers. Let's see. I can bring the numbers up. There's the chart right there. It's a 30-minute chart. I got the economic numbers right here. Let's see. 10:30. Crude oil inventories. Let's see. The forecast was to be down 2.1 million. Previously, we're down 4.143 million, and today we were down 5.91 million. So
That's huge. That's huge.
yeah, I mean it's bigger than last time. So
Yeah.
if we're down,
I think we're going to have a rally here. It's already rallying off the 65. And the products are rallying too. So I'd probably want to be long here. I'd take a shot at going long even into the OPEC meeting. I think this kind of overrides that.
when is the
And
OPEC
there
meeting?
was I don't know, it's either tomorrow or Friday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, see, if the increase in crude inventories is more than expected, it implies weaker demand and is bearish for crude prices. And a decline in inventories is less than expected, which is what we got. And so it should have brought us higher prices, and it did initially. This is the candle when the inventories came out right here. And then we ran up almost to the zone. Missed it by 5 ticks. Came back down to the zone. That one is actually last week's. This week's is just a notch higher at 30. So it caught that spike on the inventory numbers. And 25. There we go. All right, so it's trying to move its way back up. Anything else you want to cover?
No, listen, I think we covered everything. Thanks very much for the invite.
All right, John. Well, listen, have a great day.
Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys, we started a couple days ago. A good word for the day, talking about fathers. This is something I intended to do prior to Father's Day, but Father's Day's come and gone. And now that we've all had a chance to really reflect on what that holiday's about. Yesterday was part 1. Today is part 2. It's 3 parts. Proverbs 3:1. My son, do not forget my law, but let your heart keep my commands. If you're a dad, God expects you to be the leader in your family. Now we have the nuclear family that we grew up with. That's changed. We have blended families, and we have grandparents raising the grandchildren because mom or dad or both weren't up for the task. The family structure has certainly changed over the years. But if you're a dad, God expects you to be the leader in the family, and that hasn't changed. Now, if you're going to do what God expects of you, whether you're the dad, whether you're the granddad. And you know what? There's a lot of mothers out there that have to fulfill both roles. And there's some dads out there fulfilling the role of father and mother. Divorce still rampant in the world. So if you're going to do what God expects of you, number one, you have to want to lead. Okay? God expects you to lead, but you have to want to lead. Without good leadership, the chances are your kids are headed for a life of trouble. Former U.S. Attorney General William Barr says, if you look at the one factor that most closely correlates with crime, it's not poverty, it's not unemployment, it's not education, it's the absence of the father in the family. There's a whole lot of that going on. Number two, you must know where you're going. Without clear direction for your own life, you cannot guide your kids. God expects you to enable your children to make wise decisions in such crucial areas of life as sex, money, relationships, marriage, and the vocations that they ultimately choose. Now, these are make or break issues. It's your job to teach them both in precept and in practice what those crucial life issues are and to help them make godly decisions in each one. Sex, money, relationships, marriage, their jobs or careers. Now, before you can help somebody else get their house in order, your own house has to be in order. And so, in all those areas that I just listed, many of us are struggling in our own life to deal with that. And until we get that sorted out, we cannot be the leader that God called us to be, or be the father that God called us to be, and do the job that God called us to do. Number three, you must be there for them. Let's use the acrostic on the word dads. Direction, availability, discipline, and spirituality. Dads. Direction, availability, discipline, spirituality. The most crucial component on the list is availability. Why? Because if you're not available, you can't give direction, your discipline will be resented, and your spiritual leadership will be rejected. Nature abhors a vacuum, and if you don't lead your children, somebody else will lead them for you. If you're not there for them, someone else will be. And there's a good chance it might be someone you don't like. He fell in with the wrong crowd. Did he? Well, where were you when he fell in with maybe you were falling in with your own wrong crowd. Maybe you fell into the same crowd together. That's a depressing thought. If you're not there for them, somebody else will be. When that happens, the greater problem isn't that you won't be around, it's that you'll no longer be missed. In the Bible, God is called our Father. So today, all of us, men and women, fathers and mothers, we need to ask God to help us, men in particular, to become the fathers that our children need. It is a responsibility. It is one that typically comes early in life, in the normal scheme of things. Sometimes late teens, sometimes early 20s, mid to late. The current generation seems to be delaying it a bit, late 20s, early 30s type of thing. my wife and I, when we were married many years ago, about 35, something like that. I guess we expected to have children. Didn't give it a lot of thought, but despite our best efforts, it just never happened. And so we accepted that life, and but we didn't mope around and moan about it. It just, hey, God's choice, God's decision. And of course, we had the kids at the orphanage in Africa. I mean, that came later in life. But when I got that call at the barbershop, a man of a certain age, to take in, a 4-year-old, which is now a 16-year-old, and then eventually along with his sister, my wife and I adopted. First we were foster parents, then we adopted. We had a long-term relationship with the birth mother, and I've told you all the story before, so I won't drag you through it again. But it's unusual for someone of a certain age, to all of a sudden be called in to be a parent. I mean, when you go through the normal, birth process, at least you got 9 months to get ready, to get prepared, to steel yourself. And I had about 15 minutes, and I really didn't know if I had it in me. I didn't know if I had what it took. I didn't because I had never done, So, God, if this is your will, let's bring it on. And so within a couple weeks, things fell into order and fell into sync, and I accepted that that's what God had planned for me from the beginning. So wherever you're at in your life with your kids, maybe they're grown. Maybe you wish you could do some things differently, but we cannot turn back the hands of time. So no matter how old they are, no matter how imperfect they may be, like us, you still have the ability to influence that child's life, whether they're 3 or 33 or 53. So, man, let's do it. Moms, where would we be without the moms and the grandmothers? And what happens to the, grandmothers have taken care of this current generation and the one before. A vast percentage. My question is, see, the grandmothers I'm talking about are probably anywhere from 70 to 90 plus right now. When they're gone, right? Will the next generation be able to follow suit? Will they be able to pick up where the others left off? I'm concerned about that. I don't know. But before I can be concerning myself with all of that out there, I have to take a look at what's happening in my own home, under my own roof, on my watch. When God entrusts us to do something that's important, and we should endeavor to get it right to the very best of our ability. So, that is our good word for the day. Proverbs 3:1. My son, do not forget my law, but let your heart keep my commands. Tomorrow, part 3. And Bruce shared, I don't know how it is in Texas, but in Maryland, Caucasians are below 50% of the population with our present immigration policy. Bruce, I don't know what it is in Texas. I would guess Arizona being on the border. Let's see what the internet says. probably a list out there somewhere that breaks it down by state. Yeah, it looks like Wikipedia got a little something going on. Okay, now, okay, the white non-Hispanic population by state, and the last figures they have are from 2012. So Alabama is 66.6% white Caucasian. And you had asked about Texas. Now you said you were from Maryland. Let me look at Maryland. Maryland. I show 53.7%. But again, this dates back to 2012. So we're looking at data that's 6 years old, and things can change quite a bit. In Texas, Caucasians account for, in 2012, 44.3% of the population. The biggest numbers I see are Vermont, 94%. West Virginia, 92%. And let's see if there are any other really big numbers. No, those stand out. I guess the closest would be, what did I just see, at 94 roll by? Yeah, Maine. Okay. Now, let's swing that in the other direction. Okay. In New Mexico, now again, these are 2012 numbers, 40%. Let's see what else is below the 50% line, if there are any. Yeah, Texas at 44.3%. And I think everything else shows over 50. Oh, no, District of Columbia. Wow. Washington, D.C. As of 2012, Caucasian population was 35% of the overall population. Probably because you got a lot of foreign ambassadors and such. California, 39%. Where I grew up in Georgia, 55%. Oh, Hawaii, I missed that, 22%. Well, okay, that stands to reason in Hawaii. Yeah, so that's the most up to date. I don't. Now here's 2016. Yeah, 10 U.S. states are more than 90% Caucasian as of, what's the date? April 2016. So this data is 2 years old. Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, West Virginia, Iowa, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, Kentucky, and North Dakota. Hey Alan, how are you? Alan found a link. Let's check that out. And it says click here for a list of 50 bizarre state laws. I'm sure we've all ran across such lists before. Yeah, how does this ever even happen? Like in Alabama, it is illegal to wear a fake mustache that causes laughter in church. Okay. See about Arizona. What do we got in Arizona? It is illegal for men and women over the age of 18 to have less than one missing tooth visible when smiling. This law was implemented during the Wild West days in order to encourage the people in the town to make dentistry more of a priority. Well, that's amazing. So let me go to this link that Alan gave me. Is that a different link, Alan? No. Let me go to the link you gave me. Okay. Oh, I saw that this morning. Well, oh, you sent it wrong because they look like the same. The billboard. Let me try again. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just have to share this with anybody who hasn't already seen it. This is in Texas on I-40. Liberals, please continue on I-40 until you have left our great state of Texas. I'm surprised they didn't make more of a play on the word left, but hey, they were probably having a busy day. Now, there was another billboard in Texas recently, just a few days ago, I think, that a church had put up. One of the mega churches, I think in the Dallas area. And the billboard said, America is a Christian nation. Billboard. America. Christian nation. So they made them take it down. First Baptist Dallas. America is a Christian nation. Billboard. Okay. Freedom Sunday. America is a Christian nation. Okay. Billboard along the North Dallas Tollway proclaiming America is a Christian nation has been removed. The billboard at the Lemon Avenue exit promoting a celebration of Christian patriotism Sunday at First Baptist Dallas has drawn criticism and been labeled divisive. The downtown megachurch's senior pastor, Robert Jeffries, defended the billboard and said its removal was unduly influenced by the media and Mayor Mike Rawlings. Jeffries said that the billboard company Outfront Media cited a Dallas Morning News column in its decision to revoke its approval for the advertisement. So it was actually Outfront Media that revoked it, supposedly because they were pressured by the mayor. Outfront Media, though, said in an interview Monday that neither the news nor the mayor had anything to do with the billboard's removal. The pastor could not be reached for comment on Monday, but told Fox News, because that's usually where he's at. He's not at church. He's on Fox News. He's their go-to guy in the Bible Belt. The pastor could not be reached for comment on Monday, but told Fox News that the Christian Nation sermon, named for a quote by founding father John Jay, is simply my recounting the historical evidence for the Christian foundation of our country. One nation under God, all that. The news column posted online June 7th argues that the billboard's message doesn't reflect a city that embraces all of its residents. Consider this your semi-regular reminder that Jeffries, Fox News' go-to religious authority, is among this city's most divisive voices. Nothing he says shocks me anymore. I mean, this is a preacher, a follower of Christ, who actually said, America is not a church where everyone should be welcomed regardless of race and background. I must have misread that billboard. America is a Christian nation. Okay. don't see where it says this on the billboard. Now, he's inferring that he did. So, Pakistan. I always thought it was Pakistan until President Obama enlightened me. It's Pakistan. So, would it be fair to say that Pakistan is a Muslim nation? I think it would be fair, and I don't think you would get any blowback with that statement. Alan says, would you mind doing a review on the daily and 60-minute yen? Yeah, Alan, I'd be happy to. And I might be, boy, I hadn't looked at that. I'll take a look at it, and I'll let you know what I think. I'll let you know what I find out. During Monday's Fox News interview, Jeffress also was critical of the Dallas mayor, who was quoted in the column. He does not have the right to weigh in on this, to disparage our church, and to directly or indirectly influence the billboard company. We think Mayor Rollins has been hostile to First Baptist Dallas. Now, they call it a mega church, but I don't know how big their congregation is. It's not the Dallas I want to be. You say things that do not unite us but divide us. I never heard those words, that voice come out of Christ. Just the opposite. I was brought up to believe. Be proud of yours, but do not diminish mine. Jeffrey said the billboard company called the church the day after the column was published to say it was taking down the advertisement. I want to make it clear we respect the right of the billboard company not to propagate a message they aren't comfortable with. Outfront Media said a flood of complaints about the divisive message led the company to pull its approval. In the past, similar considerations have been taken regarding signs posted by Muslim groups, Scientologists, abortion opponents, and abortion rights supporters. Well, where's free speech in the whole thing? Although the company's contracts dictate that signs that elicit complaints be removed at the advertiser's expense, a First Baptist representative said Outfront offered the church a full refund. First Baptist said it invites people of all faiths to attend Sunday's event. Executive Pastor Ben Laverne said the sermon will cover the Christian values that have guided our country over time. He also said the church has negotiated a contract with another billboard company to advertise on 20 digital billboards throughout Dallas. You know, those digital billboards, kind of cute, kind of clever, definitely get your attention. But, you're driving, and your eyes should be on the road and the car in front of you, the car behind you, and one's on beside you. I find myself looking and lingering a little too long on those digital billboards. So be careful out there. Now, Alan, on the yen. Give me the current symbol on the yen and we will take a look at it. $6J, I guess U. 6JU, Japanese yen. Okay. My little select all box has has vanished. Well, if that ever happens to you, you go to configure. Is that going to be under drawing tools? No. Select all, select all. Nope, nope, nope. How about general? Drawing operations. Okay, so you go there, click that, and you want just the image, and you just grab it and drag it. I thought that one always showed up by default. No. I don't even know what that one is. Okay, there we go. Apply, close. Now I can select all and hit the delete key on my keyboard. Okay, this is the 6J. Looks like here for the daily part. Let's just get a bigger picture. Now this is the continuous chart. You can't trade the continuous chart. Here it comes. But you can use it, and we've talked about this a couple times because of the gold trade that we had discussed. Okay. All right. Okay. So from the most recent swing high, and since that's where we're going to take it from, March, I think we should probably just go ahead. So there's any confusion. For that older data, I don't think we're going to use it. See, there's at the bottom. Now that's March. Really interesting the difference this shows up. Alright, but this is the contract we're trading, and so we can get the information we need. We can pull it out of here. Okay. From the swing high, which was put in back on March 23rd this year, to the swing low, put in May 21st. March 23rd to May 21st. So, we have had a 38% Fibonacci retracement. The swing high to the swing low, 38. Now, double bottom. However, and we talked about this a little bit earlier on a different market, but we did not come back to test this low to the tick. Buyer stepped in early. See there? Buyers came in early, and so that's bullish. Let's draw a little trend line. Close, close. Okay. So that, could be an issue. Connected the swing high to this high. This I didn't quite make it. Now, when you're drawing trend lines, I mean, can you do that? Yeah, it amounts to pretty much the same thing, but to just stay true to form. And there are people who will discount a wick when drawing a trend line. I don't. I usually recognize them because that is where the market traded. I'm going to highlight that trend line, Control C, and then Control V. That gives me a trend line at exactly the same angle. And does that fit anywhere? Yeah, okay, from here, see, we hit it, and then we hit it and spiked it a little bit. Could I move it out so that it's like that? Yeah. All right. So in this descending price channel, we've had, numerous legs and retracements. Remember, this is the daily chart. And then we caught a rally from the low. Got a nice rally up to the 38% reverse fib. Touched it. And kind of lingering here. From the low here to the high here. We blew out that 62% retracement. Okay, leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, and it looks like it's gonna it's the beginning, daily candle, of a retest perhaps of this low, and then ultimately that low. Now, Alan, tell me, are you currently in a position? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Kind of give me an idea of what you're looking to do. Intraday trading, swing trading, and I'll try to give you my best thought on that. You're flat right now. Okay. Is this something that you want to trade like longer term, that you're going to hold for a few days, or is it something you want to be in and okay, you're looking to be long. Okay. So you want to be long and hold it. Okay. Long and hold. I don't know that, I mean, is there a particular reason that you want to be long? Do you just feel, do you feel that, we put in a low, rallied, came back, buyer stepped in early, ran it up, didn't get all the way to that trend line. I want to be long and hold it. I would I think I would hold off. You got to wait to see what's going to happen here. And then, well, we'll try to find a window of opportunity, but it's not right now. The window of opportunity is not here. Draw that same thing again, blow it up a little bit. Could a person draw a trend line right here, across there. We could. So it looks like price wants to come back to test that area. And so if price comes back to test this area and it holds and it does become good support, I would be willing to go long back up to this trend line, but I want to be careful. So I mean, here's my best thinking for you. Your first window of opportunity is going to be right in here. And you want to get above this swing high. So the 38% reverse fib is just what we rallied up to, and we spiked it, and then the following day we hit it again and it served as good resistance. Third day we hit it, good resistance. And so I think we have to consider that as price comes back up, at least the first time, because we've got this oh, come on, there we go. Come on. So what does this amount to? What price? What's the current price that you show? So there's something about this price looks off, and it seems like I remember when we used to trade the yen in the live trading room, we had to reformat this. You were going to buy if yesterday's high was taken out. Well, okay, so then that's basically what I'm saying. But I think if you once this high is taken out, okay, then you hit the 24% retracement. And we drew this big picture trend line, but then you've also got wow, I can't see any. Yeah, you want to get above this high. This is just in my opinion. I'm going to get above this high, so it'll be right about here, wherever that is on your chart. I got 0.00923, and I think if we get there, and if you get an opportunity to get long at this price, now, you definitely want to clear this swing high, because that's probably going to be good resistance, at least the first time it runs up there. And so you get long, and as we approach that 38% retracement again, which was resistance, 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 because these are days. Resistance, resistance. We just have to anticipate that it will be resistance at least the first time up there. Okay. In fact, if we break out above that, and if we hold it on a pullback, then it becomes tradable. You got the 50% retracement here, but this whole area, I mean, if this thing gets going to the upside, and this is all purely technical, I mean, it has nothing to do with any fundamentals that are going on. I don't know if the Bank of Japan's up to anything. I haven't followed the yen in quite a while. So there's the initial window of opportunity, and then you've got this with this 50% right in the middle, because that's a daily chart. So many people watch that, and when they see that 50% retracement, it becomes one of those self-fulfilling prophecy kind of things. So I don't know if that's helped any, but tell me about the price. Tell me what do you show as yesterday's price? Or the current price, I mean. What's the current price that you have on your chart? So you got this little window, okay? Got to get above this, and then you want to get out or really tighten up your stop before you hit this. So you show 91215. Okay. You got 91205 for whatever reason, but that's okay. So we're in the same area. So perhaps 923 up to the 927 area. I don't even remember what the yen pays, and so I don't know if it's now. Definitely some turbulence here, so you have to really tighten your stop up or get out, and then you could get back in. But you say you want to, this is something you're willing to hold, so you could hold through this. Just make sure that as you approach this area, at least have your stop to break even or better, because it could come back and tag it. And if that's the case, if you get knocked out at break even, then you always have a chance to re-enter. So 923, 927, and then or 932 to 935. I just don't even know if that's, I guess it's a day, you know. And then again, you've got another little window here to here. That would be 937. At 937 up to 942. Now, should you break out above at some point 945, and maybe we're ready to go back and, you know, instead of a long-term target at 65. I mean, if you get your entry here, I mean, that could be your long-term hold to target up here, knowing that it's gonna, you know, back and fill and do all that kind of stuff on the way up. And just to take a peek, let's look at it. Now let's do this. Now this is on daily, but for me to get long, I would want to see this work its way out. In other words, it's going to come down. So it's going to take probably a number of days, unless there's some big unexpected rally. Red and falling, red and falling. There you go. Blue and climbing, blue and climbing. There you go. Red and falling. Now, see, there's I think there's potentially more downside here. I do. You see where this is positioned? It's red and starting to hook down, but it hasn't. Now, could it turn blue and hook back? Oh, sure. So be patient and let it come to you. Now this is a range chart. Each candle's 10 ticks tall. Nothing magical about 10. It's just a number that I use fairly regularly. So this is just a beautiful example right here. Price attempted that rally, and then when it crossed below the CFMA1, the price gets below it. Now we're on a range chart. We're not on the daily anymore. And then the bulls step in, they huff and they puff, and they push it back up. But there's no change in here. Red and falling, red and falling. And then sellers step in. And so the entry, for me, if I were, this would be a beautiful picture perfect entry right there. Yes, this is hindsight. Absolutely perfect science. But I think it's also a great example. Price shows you the direction it wants to trade in. But then I want to see the opposing force, buyers or sellers, depending upon the direction of the trade that I'm taking. I want to see them give their best effort. And then I want to see it get nipped in the bud. Demonstratively, right? Just like that. I couldn't ask for anything better. And then I'll just sell the open of this candle right here. And that went from, I don't know, the high was 912. I guess you got to use all those digits for it to even make sense. 912.87 down to 911.90. So when I take it, I just be patient. If you want to be long, be patient. Hope that helps. Mike B says gold looks bad. Yep. Yes, it does. So last night's trade alert to sell 76. Actually hit it once. Now we've just done it a second time. Now, these wicks here are bullish. These are 30-minute candles. Is this going to hold? If it doesn't hold, where do we go next? Well, these are, of course, last week's zones. But we have a zone. It's so close to Thursday. Let's just 72, 73 is the zone. 72, 73, 72, 73. Wow. Okay, so these are the zones that were published. Well, the partners got them Monday morning, 6:15. So we've come down, we've hit the zone, bounced, hit the zone, bounced, and we're back to the zone again. And on this bounce, we put in a lower high. Well, it'll firm up at some point. So if 72.73 doesn't hold, then the next zone down is 61.62. One 62, 72, 73. Okay. So if this fails, then what we would look for is we would just look for This is it failing. Now, these are 30-minute candles, and then this is price pulling back to test the zone from the underside to see if it's going to act as good resistance. And then leg, retrace, like that's what that would look like, or what we want it to look like. It doesn't have to look like that. It could just fall out of bed and go there. But that's the next area of potentially good support that we see, the way we look at it. And then above this area that we've been caught in for days, $1288/89. Okay. So that's so to get short, well, we'll map it out both ways. On gold, this is intraday or swing trading. Just bear in mind the margins differ. If you hold from the day session to Globex, you don't have access to the day margins. You got to be flat going into Globex in order to access the day trading discounted margins. So anyway, 72. Okay. We'll do a live radio. Oh, 6/20/18. Consider selling a 1270 or buying. Now 73, I would want to be at least 75, but we're running into this area here where we had said to consider selling 77, worked out, went to the zone. Here's 76, so this is a leap, I realize, but if we take this, drag it across here, could a person buy could you just go long right here? Well, I'm gonna fade the trade or counter trend trade, and I'm just gonna be long. I'm gonna get long 73 and hope and see if it can go back to 76. But you're most likely going to run into resistance unless there's some kind of news, some kind of event. So I gotta get above the noise to make a commitment. So the next zone is way up at 88, 89. So I would look on the long side. Now, I know the question comes to mind is like, well, okay, if you're willing to go long at 1283, actually, it's 82, right? Right there. 83 pushes it up here. Boy, I don't like any of this. Well, the question is if you're willing to buy, if I'm willing to buy 82. Well, we'll call it 82. Well, prices got to get from here to 82. So if you're willing to buy 82, why not buy 73? I mean, goodness. That's 9 points, $900 per contract just to get to your entry. So why would you not want to take advantage of that? Well, because I think that we potentially run into trouble here and here, and you could get whipsawed. I mean, depending upon your account size and you know what kind of risk tolerance you're comfortable with, you could do that. I mean, that is viable. That's a you know what? Let me just pull the trigger and see what happens. Although there's no reason to, if you chose to, go along here. 73 to 76, I mean, that's 3 points. That's $300 per contract. So you could do that. But I'm going to go with, you know what? I'm going to go with 1283 because I think that's, that requires patience, that requires waiting. This market is just, instead of selling 1270, now if you sell 1270, the target is going to be, well, the zone 6162, so I would put my target at 63. That's what I would do. I'd put it at 63. $12.70 to $12.63. $12.70 to $12.63. Or buying $12.83 up to because of this previous swing high. Instead of 80, I'm going to go 86. Really? All that waiting for a 3-point trade. It is what it is. All things considered, you know, if I were forced for some reason to trade gold right now, that's my best scenario. But not being forced to do it, I would just go look for a different market, something that had a better setup going on. Or, you know, I would trade it differently. Price breaks down, bulls come in and rally it up, bears slap it down. This wick, boy, that makes entering here very inviting. The more conservative entry would probably be an entry here, okay, but you do get a pretty good drawdown if you buy the open of this candle. The open was 75.60. The high was 76.30. Well, so that's not too much. We got an 8-tick drawdown. Not bad at all. And so we're back down here into the same area. Fall through. We'll step in to try to continue the trend. They get knocked down, they try one more time, they get knocked down. So an entry, a valid entry for me, the way I teach this, would be there. Or there. Red and falling. Red and falling. And an entry there. What did that do for you? So this went from 75.60 down to 72.60. Not a lot to work with, but it's what's there. On a larger time frame perspective, like a daily, that video I made last night, it's a 5-minute. You know, it'll take too long. I'll share this on a daily, and then I'll take my leave. Okay, this is a daily chart. Each candle, one day. And boy, just looking at that makes me go, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. And you look at this on a daily. We got right back to the 50-yard line, and we were already hooked over. So it looks like the next stop for gold is going to be this 61.62 weekly zone. 61.62. Now on the 30-minute, you see this wick. Okay. See how this swing low left that wick behind? The wick actually touching the zone. And then this swing low, the next swing low, same thing. And now this swing low. Okay. Let's say this 30-minute candle, which has 8 minutes left. No, it's got 28 minutes. There's 28 minutes left in the life of this candle. If somehow price were able to move over the next 28 minutes to move up and close green, okay, I mean that's not out of the question, it doesn't have to move very far. So we close green above the zone and we leave a wick, which you see that wick's already vanishing. But had it played out like that, had we ended up with something that looked like that or like that, then the idea would simply be to buy the open of the next candle and then trail a stop, you know, as far as it will take you. If this closes bearish the way it appears to, we said to consider selling 1270. I think we just hit 1270, didn't we? Yeah. The low was 1270.40. The low of this candle, I'll get all these things out of the way. Okay, now we get a good reading, right? What is the problem? All right, I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff. Now can I get a good reading? Apparently not. there's something. Whatever. The low is 1270.40. So we need to drop another 4 ticks. Yeah, something's... Oh, I see what it is. That's why they call me Wayne, I guess. That line I had drawn was preventing me from getting a reading. So the low is 1270.40. At least we got that part right. Now we can easily read it. 1270.40 is the low. And the trade idea that we had just discussed. Did I just delete that? I did. No, there is. Okay. All right. So 1270 down to 1263. 1 point above the zone. If that gets triggered, that might be the way to go. We got a 30-minute here. And there's nothing magical about a 30 minutes. Now, here's a situation where you see how this just dropped and fell away. Yeah, you're red and falling. Yeah, you're red and falling. But you never really got what the type of entry that I like. No, the type of entry that I like, okay, would be more like this. Price walks on the back side of the CFMA1, blue and climbing. Okay, now we're red and falling. Red and falling. And this requires patience. These are 30-minute candles. Bull step in, run it up, hit that CFMA1, which when it's red and falling, high probability that it will serve as a good resistance until it doesn't. And so the entry on the 30-minute chart would be right there. Red and falling, red and falling. You got the bullish test, the bear's response. Sell it like you stole it. The open of that candle was 1283.30. So that's $1,000 per contract drop. Okay, with the majority of it taking place in that 1 30-minute candle, which opened at 7 a.m. Eastern this morning. I'm not sure what kind of news there may have been, but at the right time. Yeah, that's the right time. Okay. All right, so it looks like, did we hit 70 yet? Nope, not yet. Now, when you take this and you lay on it the weekly trading zones, and then if you're a Concierge Trade Alert client and you lay that on top of the zones, on top of what I just walked you through here, sometimes the opportunities will just literally leap out at you, and that's a good thing. And so if you want to learn more, let me know. Sign up for a mentoring session. Take a trial wherever you fall in there. Okay. All right, guys. I gotta run. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are and wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell. I think my bell's sick. What are you
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.